Morning. Hear that guy? Cardinal saying good morning. He's saying welcome to the Daily Dose, episode number 53. Good morning to you. Happy day. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having an amazing, blessed week. Listen, today I want to talk to you about how to make a way when there's no way. How to make a way when there's no way. I'm gonna give a moment before people come on. Just listen to that guy. I got the little bird feeder. If you see him like there, maybe he'll fly down on the eat in the morning. That's why I position this in the backyard. This is kind of back, like my house is over here and behind the camera. And then there's cardinals and all kinds of birds flying around. It's pretty awesome. Something I've been enjoying. But listen, you're not here to let me talk about the birds. I want to share with you how to make a way when there is no way. And it's actually, I got inspired as a song. It's called Do It Again by Elevation, and it's pretty cool. I'll share that. There's a couple of lyrics I'm going to share with you on that in a moment. But right now, I want to just ask you, like, has there been anything in... Oh, let me just kind of, first, I'm kind of jumping the gun, so I'm really excited the story I'm going to share with you. But why am I doing the Daily Dose? So the Daily Dose, first off, who the heck am I? Like maybe you've gone on, maybe we friend requested each other, or you saw something in my challenge, maybe you have no idea who the heck I am. First off, welcome to the Daily Dose. My name is Mark Avens. I am an online coach. I help moms and dads lose weight, keep the weight off, and I help them do it without long workouts and impossible diets. Now, I have a premium coaching program. It's online. It's what I do. It's what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years. I've been a coach, fitness professional for the past 25 years, yada, yada, etc. So let's just put that aside. The Daily Dose, what that is. Well, 53 days ago, actually probably more than 54, 55, I wanted to bring our world, however I could possible, bring more encouragement, because what I found is there's just more and more discouragement, more and more, with everything going on and everything getting locked down. Several weeks ago, it was just a time where it was really easy to see how everybody's getting pulled down, weighted down, hooks are being pulled in, and just people were getting angry and frustrated, and rightfully so, but also it was, staying in this state. So what I wanted to do is bring this daily dose to you to provide some encouragement. I'm going to say hello. I love the little wave, so I see that you're here. Appreciate you. Hey, Megan, appreciate you. David, thanks for showing up. And I have a story. So the Daily Dose provided daily dose of encouragement. You can wake up with a dose of terrible news. You can wake up with a dose of news media. You can wake up with a dose of frustration. You can wake up with a dose of feeling bad about yourself, feeling just wanting to give up, all those types of things. And it's the title, how to make a way when there is no way. And sometimes it can be easy to feel like there's just no way possible to for what I do for a living. There's just no way possible I can get the weight off. There's just no way possible that I can get healthy again. There's just no way possible I can get myself out of my food addiction. There's just no way possible I can see myself getting on a regular exercise routine. There's just no way possible I can get myself back into a bathing suit without having to put a cover up on. There's just no way possible that I can see myself being confident again or being strong again. I'm just too old. There's just no way, right? Does that resonate with any of you? Because I know it does with a lot of people that are in my space that come in and ask for help because they're at a place where they don't feel like there's a way. But the good news is they haven't given up. So let me share with this. Is there anything that you're struggling with now? And it can be related to health. It could be related to other things. It could be related to relationships, and it could be related to your professional career. It could be related to just your self-confidence, not just necessarily health. But I want to ask this, and I have a story I want to share with you while you're thinking about that, if this is resonating. Now, who is this message not for? Listen, if you've gotten away and you're doing great and things are going awesome and you found ways to make them and things are happening and you're moving and shaking, this message is probably not for you. But I want this to be encouragement for any of you who are struggling. How are you feeling like there's just no way for me to get that 50 pounds off? There's just no way I know Mark's got this 21-day challenge. I know he's got a coaching program, but I just don't think it's like, this is just not possible. I've tried everything else. I've tried all those things and I've failed. So I want to share with you a story about how to make a way, when there was no way. Now listen, this is a really cool story, so I hope you're listening, and if you're just coming on, you came to the best part, because I started off about the daily dose and all that, but right now is a story and I want to share with you, is when I was a kid. Now, on a side note, I grew up, kind of just give you a quick background, like 20-second version. I grew up in Long Island. My grandfather was a farmer, and when they got older, my parents moved our family to the farm, and there wasn't like lots of things. It was still 20 acres, and so anyway, I had a childhood growing up on a farm. We had animals, pigs, chickens, all that kind of stuff, cows, and we had property. And the one cool thing is that you could ride tractors and things like that. But when I was young, I knew friends that were a little older, and they had three-wheelers. Now this is before four-wheelers and before three-wheelers were banned. And I wanted one so bad. And I was like only 8 or 9. I think I was around 9 years old, and I wanted one so bad. And I don't know if you remember when you were a kid at Christmas time, and one of the things I asked Santa for, and I don't know, maybe I don't know about believing in Santa at that time. Maybe not, I don't remember. But I was asking, I wanted a three-wheeler so bad. I just was so obsessed about this three-wheeler. And it was something, I didn't have one, and I knew a couple friends that were getting them, and I was like, really wanting. And I remember Christmas morning, and we woke up, and I didn't, there was no indication that I was getting a three-wheeler, none of that, and so forth. And then I was like, heart set. Now it's something that's fairly expensive, and I knew it was like, hey Dad, well, we could use it on the farm, and we can do. I was justifying why I needed to get one. So I'll never forget those boxes. The last thing is like, oh no, this is the last gift, and the last gift was a helmet. And they're like, yeah, my dad, they were playing it off awesome. And they're like, yeah, sorry, this year we can't get you, it's just, blah, blah, blah. And I was so heartbroken I didn't get one. But anyway, that turned into me going down for breakfast, going down to help my dad with the chores down on the farm. And we went to a barn, and boom, lo and behold, there was a big bow around this little three-wheeler, 9-year-old. So it was like the small version of a three-wheeler. And I was just blown away. Well, the story is not even that. And you got to hang on, because this is a really, really good story. So stay with me. Trust me, there's a great point to this story when it has to making a way when there is no way. Now, I took that out, and now my dad, he's like, I'm going to help you with this because you've never been on one. And I was like, no, I got this. I got the helmet. I'm going to go. It was a little ATC 110, didn't have any suspension. It was fast for being 9 years old. And I got on, and I was like, no, let me take it. So I took it, and what do? I run right into what's called a briar patch. Familiar thorns and all that stuff, and I literally, I go around my first turn, and I go right into a briar patch, and I got all tore up. And I was young, and I was like, okay. And I think my dad wasn't around. I knew it felt like forever. I was sitting there, and he's like, where'd he go? I was like a little ways away, and he came down, and he helped me pull me out. No problem. And I healed, I got cut up. And of course, I didn't give up. But that was then. So that was when I was young, and I was able to, get back in. So that was it. No problem. So I thought I had it together. Now let's just fast forward a bit to when, now I've been riding three-wheelers ever since for years and years, from 9 to till I started to drive, 13, 14. And I think I was around 12 or 13. Now here's the second story. And the second story is a little bit heavier. The second story, now that was no problem, right? Younger, you men, get over it, mom puts a little Band-Aid on, perfect, young, easy. Now when I was 13, it's a little different story. Now I had a bigger three-wheeler. It was actually a three-wheel, yeah. It was faster, way faster, 50, 60 miles an hour. I was way better. I'd already experienced maybe 4 or 5 years of experience riding three-wheelers and four-wheelers. And listen, you're going to have to go back if you're just catching me now, and you're going to have to listen to the beginning of it, but it's really, really worth it, trust me. So now here we are, and you could ride on the beach at the time, and I rode with friends, and we put all the, exhaust pipes, made them loud, made them obnoxious. That was just what boys do, right? And at 12, 13, that's what we were doing. So anyway, we were riding, we were on the beach, and now on the beach where I grew up, there's an ocean, and then there's these bays. Now, just kind of listen to me on the story. So you have the ocean, and you have the bay, and when they're very close, there's really only sand that are separating the two. And I happen to live near a big body of water, big bay. And when that filled up, what they did, when it filled and overflowed, so it would just kind of maintain it when it rained a lot, what they would do is dredge between the ocean and the bay and let the water run out into the ocean, right? It's just kind of how they do things. And it was really cool. They had cool waves and stuff, but the water would come flowing out. Now, we were riding on the beach one day, and I remember we needed to get to a certain place down the other side of the beach. And they had opened the cut. It was called the cut or the inlet, and they opened it, and we were riding. These things are cruising, right? And so we come up on this thing, and it was like water it was probably not maybe 10 feet wide. So I was like more experienced. I thought I knew. I was like, okay. And I was like, let's just go for it. So I backed up. I literally like put on the gas, stepped on it, third, fourth gear. I think it was full on. It was like full on. And I went and I was like, I'm just going to coast over it. It's a three-wheeler. What the heck was I thinking, right? Like, so stupid thinking about it now and telling the story. So I fly through that. Listen, as I fly through the inlet, I go through the water in it. And literally it goes, boom. I'll never forget it. It goes boom. And the water like came over top of me. So the water, mind you, wasn't that it just came over top of me. Mind you, the water that was draining out into the ocean, now I'm stuck in the middle of this cut. Not only am I stuck, now I'm getting pulled out. My three-wheeler and me, they're kind of upside down. Now I wasn't drowning or anything, and I was a good swimmer. But it was pulling me. It was like a length of maybe 100 feet, 200 feet, something like that. And it was starting to pull me. And I had a friend with me. This is so ridiculous. So, but there's a point to this. I had a friend, and I was like 13 years old, and even in all my strength, I couldn't get it, and it started the three-wheeler, and it was an expensive three-wheeler that I had paid for, and it was pulling me out in the ocean. And, I was like freaking out. I was never been so petrified, scared really at that point, never been more scared in my life. And I'll never forget, my heart was pounding. It was cold. It was freezing cold. I was like, oh, we'll just jump. This is like winter time. So I was cold. I was like, the three-wheel was going to go out to sea. I was hanging on to it, so I was going out to sea. And that thing is not going to float, right? So my friend gets off, and he pulls me in, and I'll never forget. I was so scared that I was like, I'm scared that I was not going to get my three-wheeler. Because I was, again, 3-4 years in this. I loved my three-wheelers getting pulled out. But there was a bigger fear that exists, way bigger than when I was like 9 years old and I went into the briar patch. I was just pissed off because I wasn't good at riding three-wheelers. But then this was a little different. It was like bigger repercussions. So why am I sharing with you this whole story about three-wheelers and four-wheelers? And you got to pay attention to this. Is going to come around. How to make a way when there's no way. So think about this. When we're younger, it's kind of like when we're younger. My story, my three-wheeler story, my four-wheeler story back when I was younger, and it was a little easier. I had a smaller three-wheeler, and I kind of messed up, and I was able to get back, and I went to the briar patch, and I got help out. It was very easy, that kind of. And then when I got older, it literally was like, it was a moment. Now, what happened after that? We were able to. The three-wheeler didn't work. When I went trying to get through, I had to like push it. It was a mess. It took a lot of effort. In fact, I think I had to sell it, and I ended up getting another one because it didn't work well anymore. It was really messed up, and I was devastated, right? Just because there was a bit of a pride thing there too. I couldn't cross it. So back to it's kind of like how we treat our health. Think about this. When we're younger, and relatively speaking, most of us probably grow up where you have the ability to be healthy, right? Like naturally speaking, the majority of us are healthy growing up. And we have, it's pretty easy. And then when we're in our 20s, it's pretty easy. Like even if we mess up a little bit, if we get a little off track with our diet, you can like eat a salad and take off 5 pounds, right? Or you can do, hey, I want to go, I put on the freshman 15. You remember back in college, that was a long time ago for me. You put on the weight, and then you could like go to the gym 4 or 5 times, and boom, you can kind of fix it. No problem, right? Like pretty easy to write the course and kind of fix it. But it's also kind of like now when you get older, right? Here's the problem. And when you're younger, listen, you're trying to just get sexy for to date, and maybe you want to get in better shape, and you want to lose the weight so you can go on spring break, that sort of stuff. When you get older, it's different. It's kind of like when I was older. Now, I wasn't that much older, but older with my three-wheeler and four-wheeler and crossing it, is that we try to make these directions, and we try to go across like these cuts, these inlets, if you were listening before, and if not, you need to go back. And we get stuck, right? We say, oh, we can do it ourselves. We got this. It's no different than when I was in my 20s. I'll just, take off the carbs and not drink a little bit as much. And the problem is people tend to go, now what did I do? When I was 13 and tried to cross, I just went on my own. I needed somebody to help pull me out. In fact, that three-wheeler would be in the middle of the ocean right now if I didn't have a friend that was with me. It was 2 friends, and to help me pull out of it. And I learned from that. What did I not do anymore? I didn't go trying to cross the inlet on a three-wheeler by myself and, you know, make a dumb mistake like that. And I learned from it, and it was a heavy lesson because it cost me, I think, a lot of money to fix it, at least I think until I sold the three-wheeler. But kind of like when we get older, and we think about how easy it was to lose weight when we were older, how easy it was it took us to get healthy, how literally we could work out 4 or 5 times and, you know, you could see maybe your abs. And maybe it's not the case for you, but I know what happens as we get older. It becomes a lot harder. It becomes a lot harder because what are the repercussions when you don't take care of yourself, when you don't, how to make a way when there was no way. And I'm getting to that because there is a way to make a way, is you got to keep going. You got to do it. The song is by Elevation Worship. It is do it again, do it again. The difference is how you do it. The difference is how you do it. Now, when you're older, if you go about it like you're in your 20s and you try to go hardcore and you try to do these things, you're going to end up failing. And the only problem is the repercussions are different. When you're older, if you get hurt, it's going to take a lot longer to mend your body. If you're overweight, it's going to be a lot harder to take care of. It's going to be more than just a couple of salads. It's going to take making some lifestyle changes and choices. Typically, what it's also going to take is you getting some help. Now, I'm not trying to just sell you on working with me, but I can tell you that's how I've made my living for the past 25 years, is helping people who get stuck like I was kind of like I was in my three-wheeler in the middle of this water, and it's pulling me out to sea, and it could be devastating. Just like it is for people who don't take care of their personal health. I hear it time and time again, how people let all the other priorities, they think, oh, I've got this. Oh, you know, no problem there. Yeah, like, hey, you know, I got my handle. I know what to eat, Mark. I know how to exercise, but they're not doing it. And the problem is if you continue down the road, and this is, again, this message is if you're stuck. If you're that person that maybe in 10 years, 15, maybe 20 years, or maybe even 5 years, where you tried to do things on your own and you came up empty, or you came up in a bad spot because now you're on medications, now you're having injuries, now your doctor's telling you better get your SHIT together, because if you don't, you're going to not only have a lot harder time when you get a little bit older, that you may require to be on medication, may be required to, to have some sort of surgery. You're at a high risk. Coronavirus, you're at a high risk because you're overweight and out of shape and unhealthy, right? Those are the things that I want to really resonate with you. So you're like, well, Mark, how to make a way when there is no way? There is a way, but the way sometimes is beyond what you're thinking. The way is sometimes beyond just trying to pull up your own bootstraps and do the best you can. Sometimes it requires the best you can doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. Does that make sense? So I'm going to say that again. The best you can do doesn't mean it's necessarily the best. I've had tons of people come into my coaching program and worked with over the last in personal training at the gym. And they're like, Mark, I've done the best I can and I'm still 30 pounds overweight. Mark, I've done the best I can, but I'm still struggling to know what to do for exercise. Mark, I've done the best I can, but I just feel like I don't have any time. Mark, I've done the best I can, but I've tried all the diets and I just don't feel like anything works for me. Mark, I've tried the best that I can, and why am I still feeling terrible about myself? Why do I not have any self-confidence? Why can't I look at myself in the mirror and actually smile? Because I'm proud of the way I've taken care of myself and I'm proud of the way I look. And I'm not talking about six-pack chiseled. Again, that's like back when I was 9 in the briar patch and when we were in our 20s trying to get the chiseled washboard abs for spring break, right? Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the parent being the best, not doing the best I can versus being the best you have the potential to be. And as a coach, one of the things that I take very high pride in is when people come into my coaching program, that they're learning how to become their best, far beyond, hey, I got a 21-day challenge, and that is almost really just, for some people, going to be a stepping stone. Is it going to be a solution? Hey, I'm not going to blow smoke. It's not a solution, but I can tell you it is a stepping stone. Maybe it's a stepping stone that you need to take to realize, you know what? Okay, I need to start taking better care of myself because I just did the second workout and I could barely get through it. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you need help, don't try to cross that inlet like I did on my four-wheeler. Don't set yourself up for that water that was flowing and taking me out to sea, to allow your health to be taking you out to sea because you're not taking care of yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense today. So how to make a way when there is no way. Here's an awesome, now I don't know where your faith is at, whether you trust in God to make a way when there is no way. And listen, he has the Do It Again by Elevation. Check this out. I'm going to finish with this. And thank you so much for listening. Is Do It Again by Elevation. I've seen you move. Come move the mountains. And I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way. And I believe I'll see you do it again. Here's the thing, what's really, really cool, and I'm gonna tie this in with my faith, is that for me, what's given me the power and the confidence to be able to help others is, again, and I've been pursuing my health for years, and I don't ride three-wheelers anymore, but what's really, really helped me is understanding that God has made a way for me, and he's provided with me where I didn't honestly feel there was a way in my life to honestly even pursue fitness after having a gym. Be completely open and honest with you. But he provided a way. He's also helped me get in touch with people in more than just a physical sense, in sharing my faith and being open about it. And it's interesting, what's really, really cool. Let me just read the second part of this. This is actually the earlier part of the verse. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed. Pretty awesome, right? Like that, those lyrics. So, here's the deal. Like, I'm not saying I'm anywhere in a God sense at all, but when it comes to your health, I know what I'm doing. I have the tools to help a lot of people. If you're listening to this message and you need to be helped, I know and I believe, and I've helped people and I can help more. And I believe that you can be at a better place. You don't have to say to yourself anymore, I've tried my best, I'm coming up short. I know there's just no way. I can't make a way, there's just no way. I'm here to tell you that there is a way, and maybe when it comes to your health, you need to be coming in to my world and allowing somebody that's been doing this for a very long time help you. And again, if it's beyond the health, maybe your option is to look to God and say, God, now maybe it's not related to your health, but maybe it's God, like, maybe I need to put my trust in you, God, to know that there's just no way. I don't think there's a way. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm not saying that this is just some corny lyrics, but I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that for me in my life, I've seen God move. I've seen him move mountains in my life. And I'll tell you what, I know and I believe, and I've seen it even through this coronavirus. I've seen not only mountains move, I've seen people's lives transformed, and way beyond even a health transformation. And I can tell you this, is if you're feeling like, I'm doing my best, but I just don't feel like there's a way, trust me, there's a way, right? There is a way. If you're doing all the best you can and you're still coming up short, I'm going to tell you that just because you're doing the best you can doesn't mean it's necessarily the best. So anyway, I hope this encouraged you. This message is truly not to bring you down. It's to encourage you. The daily dose. I hope your daily dose of me today, that's truly like I'm inspired by God. I have this little journal and I write down some notes. And in the mornings I ask God, what do you want me to resonate and say? And he wanted me to share my story about three-wheelers and four-wheelers and sharing the how it complements how we are in our lives, not like when we were in our younger 20s and how much easier it was. Like it was easier for me when I was 9 years old to get out of the briar patch my first time ever on a three-wheeler. It's more like when I was getting pulled out to sea when I was 13 years old and I was very skilled at riding a three-wheeler, yet I put myself right into really a bad position, a bad spot, and I got help to pull out. And that's the difference, get myself out of that danger. And that's the same with where many of you are at in your 40s, maybe in your 50s, maybe in your 60s, and you're in a really bad spot with your health. And again, this is not to like call people out to say this, is that just because you're trying your best doesn't mean you're at your best. And if you If you don't want to be at your best, cool. But if you know there's potential, if you believe that you can be your best and you want to be your best, and your family should demand your best, and your kids demand your best, and your job demand your best, and maybe your neighbors, and your relationship with your spouse or your loved one, or your, whatever relationship you're in right now, like, there's still your best to be had. And maybe it means just having somebody help pull you through to help get you to where you need to get to be your best. So anyway, I hope this message resonated with you. Take care. Have a blessed day. Tomorrow is what? Friday? Friday Daily Dose. I'll see you at 8 a.m. We'll see you.